Respected dignity and dear aspirants, a very good evening everyone present here. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to Samvad, the speaker session of the Civil Service Society of India. Today, we are honored to have with us Ms. Tanushree Meena Ma'am, who secured impressive All India Rank 120 in the UPSC Civil Services Examination 2021 and is currently serving in the Indian Administrative Service as an Assistant Secretary in the Madhya Pradesh Cadre. Ma'am's journey stands as a strong example of disciplined preparation, clarity of thought, and the ability to effectively integrate current affairs with the static syllabus, an ability that truly differentiates a good means answer from an excellent one. The topic of today's session, connecting the dots, linking daily news to the UPSC Mains syllabus, directly addresses one of the most crucial aspects of UPSC preparation. Through Ma'am's experience and insights, we aim to understand how to identify relevant issues from the daily news and enrich our answers with clarity and analytical depth. With this, I would now like to invite Ms. Tanushree Meena Ma'am to share your guidance and experiences with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, so hello everyone. Good evening. A brief. So before we start this session, I'll give a brief introduction about myself. I'm Tanushree Meena. Currently, I'm serving as subdivisional magistrate in Jhabua district of Madhya Pradesh. It's on the tri-junction border of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. I basically belong from Jaipur. I've done my schooling from Maharaja Savai Mansingh Vidyalaya in Jaipur. Thereafter, I did my history honors from Miranda House, University of Delhi. And after that, I did my master's in modern history from JNU. So, yeah, I secured rank of 120 in UPSC Civil Services Examination 2021, but my batch is 2022. So, I think the topic that we have today is linking the news with the mains syllabus. So basically, I think that I'm more of an expert on answer writing because I had secured really good marks in my mains. I was not that affluent with my prelims and everything. So this was my, I think after my master's, it was my third attempt where I first cleared my prelims for the very first time. And I was very sure that if I clear my prelims, I'll clear my mains and interview. So I think we'll just dive into it. I'll keep this session short of how I linked the current affairs news and everything with the mains answer writing thing. After that, I'll take up your questions because whatever I say only applies to my case. Everybody goes through different problems while they are preparing for answer writing and while they are giving their mains. So it is important that you give me your issues or where you are facing trouble or like what is something that you want to discuss, and then we can go ahead from there. Okay. So first of all, it is very important that we read the newspaper every day. It is not important, like a newspaper is not important for you to in order to write your answers. It is not like you will take things from the newspaper and write it in your answer, but it is important for you to build a perspective. For example, if in our entire preparation we read a newspaper at least for 1.5 years, and similar issues keep on cropping up every now and then. You will see that something which appeared in news in January 2024 might also be in news in May 2025 or even till now, like for example February. So what happens is that you need to find a link why this particular issue has been so important. So you understand that if particular thing has been in news multiple times, then you need to understand what is its importance, and why you need to read it from a holistic perspective. Whenever we are preparing for any competitive exams, it becomes very important that you look at a particular topic from a holistic perspective. You can have your personal opinions, you can have your personal biases, you can have your own thoughts and everything, but whenever you are writing about any issue on your test paper, in the answer, it needs to show that you are worthy of being a bureaucrat, that you can look at things from a neutral perspective. I can have a very personal political opinion or something else, but it should not be reflected in my answer copy, because the person who is going to check your test paper does not know you, does not know what are your thoughts and alignments or anything, which is why they will judge it very neutrally. But if some of your biases reflect in your answers, they are going to judge that as well. Like if you lean a more, because our thoughts and opinions, especially the political ones, become very important whenever we are writing anything. Like whenever I'm supposed to express myself in an essay, if you say, for example, I'm writing an essay on a particular international relations topic. I feel something about a particular country or about a particular geopolitical situation, about what is happening in the international relations in a particular area. But still, when I'm writing my essay, I need to give a holistic perspective from all angles, which shows that I am a person who is well aware about everything, who can judge the pros and cons of the entire situation. And at the same time, I am a person who is looking at it from a neutral perspective. Like, I'm not forming my personal opinions, my personal biases based on what is happening around the things. Like, this is extremely important, be it the economic situation, be it the political situation, be it the international relations, be it whatever is happening in terms of rules and regulations and stuff, be it in what is happening in terms of society. Everything needs to show that you have a very neutral point of view. So this becomes very important. What is your point of view when you are writing an answer in the test paper? Second is that you have to end your answer on a positive, hopeful note. You are preparing for an examination which is going to build the future of the country, which is based on hope. So you have to show that you are somebody who is there with a lot of hope, who is there with a lot of optimism and positivity. You might write all the challenges, you might write all the negativities, all the problems, all the issues in every particular aspect or topic, but in the end you have to show a way forward. Like, even after all this, we can still say, even after all this, there is a lot of this is the way forward, which is why you'll see that most of the people who have cleared the exam, they'll tell you that you have to end your answer with a way forward and a conclusion. So these are some of the things which are very important while you are writing your answer. And this entire perspective, this neutrality and everything, it comes when you have been continuously reading your newspaper, you have been continuously following the news, which makes you a well aware person. At the same time, you can differentiate what is a neutral news article, what is a biased news article. You will also understand the leanings of a particular news article, whether it is leaning towards the leftist philosophy, the rightist philosophy, the central philosophy. And we have to understand that, which is only when we'll be able to replicate what we want in our answers. After this, the entire thought process is done. We'll talk about the answer structure. So I would start my answer basically if there is a question about anything, you have to read your question first. Then, if it is talking about a particular article in the Constitution, for example, like for example, Article 21 is very important, and like I don't know what the recent questions have been, so I'll write about what that article is about. Anything which gives a brief introduction, which shows basically that I know about this topic, even if I have no idea about what that topic is, but I'll still start with what the topic is about, or something, a fact related to that topic, a quotation related to that topic, or an information related to that topic. After that, we'll come to what is asked in the question. You do not have to write whatever you know, you have to write what is asked in the question. I see that most of the people, what they do is that they just vomit their knowledge in the answer sheet. Whatever we know, we'll write it. Doesn't matter what the examiner is asking, I'll write what I know. If I know something about a particular topic, I'll write every damn thing I know about that topic, and whatever is possible to fit in those two sheets of paper. You have to understand the question really well. You have to, like, I used to pick up my subheadings for the answer from the question itself. For example, if it is a 10-mark question, you will always find it will have two parts. If it is a 15-mark question, you will always find you will always find it has three subpoints, three subheadings. You are supposed to address three topics in it. So I had a very practical strategy that if it is a 10-mark question and it has two points which are to be covered, I'll write 5 points each for each of them. So it basically is 10 points of the entire issue which is to be addressed in the question. Other than that, I'll write my introduction and I'll write my conclusion. None of your answers should look incomplete. They have to have a structure and they should always look very complete. So you should know this very well that in a 10-mark question, you are supposed to write 10 points. Be it the positives, negatives, solutions, be it the challenges, way forward, and solutions, be it the best practices, be it the innovations, issues. Like the language changes, but the structure is same. Every time you will find that in a 10 marker question, you have two parts. You're supposed to write 5 points for each of them. Then you have to write an introduction and conclusion. In a 15 marker question, you will have marks 15 points you have to write. And there are three subtopics. So you have to write 5 points for each of them. You have to basically give enough content to the examiner to give you those marks. You have to fight for even half a mark that you can get. Like there used to be certain every year there are certain topics in science and technology which nobody has any idea about. Nobody knows what that topic is, where did that question come from, but still you have to write something about it. You have to write any damn thing that you can remotely relate with it or whatever it is, and then you have to give something about it. Basically all of it is a fight for marks. You have to write like every point gives you marks. If you'll write something, you will get some of the marks. My strategy, if I talk about practically, it was this: 10 markers 10 points, 15 markers 15 points. Then I used to think that, like, this is a very psychological thing, I'm not sure if it is right or not. I used to think that if all the sheets are filled, if the pages are completely filled with content, then I'm going to get more marks. So I would never leave any space. And after me, there were a few people as well who later on texted me after clearing the exam. They were like, "Ma'am, we also followed the same strategy," and I also feel that it works. If you are writing a lot of content, first of all, but that only comes when you have a good writing speed. Not everybody has that. And you should have content to write on that topic. Not like they are asking about X, I'm writing about Y, Z. So I used to think that I have to fill my entire sheet from the top to the bottom. If 10 markers, then I have to fill the 2 pages. For 15 markers, I'll fill the 3 pages. And I was very clear about it. So I had prepared myself for answer writing in such a way that I could actually write that much. Like I would not even stop for a single second when I started writing my mains answers. And I would start it dot when the bell rang. Then I would finish when the bell stopped. And I knew that I'll always finish all of my questions. Here comes the third part, that you have to finish all the questions. 20 questions need to be attempted. One question left basically means you are one question behind in the race, because everybody is practicing answer writing a lot. Clearing prelims is based on luck, it is based on knowledge, but mains is purely and purely hard work. Nobody clears mains just by luck, just by chance. And even if they clear it, they are not going to get a good rank. Only and only those who have worked really hard for mains, they are the ones who are going to clear that examination. And mains is the one which is going to decide your selection. Interviews decide your rank, mains decide your selection, your service is decided mostly by mains. You will hardly see people who scored really well in interview and they suddenly came in like top 100 or top 200. इंटरव्यू कैन डिसाइड समवेयर लाइक अगर आपका 200 आना था तो आपका 150 रैंक आ जाएगा, या आपका 150 आना था तो आपका 90s में या 50s में आ जाएगा. But mains is the thing. Mains is the main subject matter. It holds the highest marks, and it is what is going to decide your service. It is going to decide where you hold that, like where are you in the ranking list, whether you are even going to get in or not. If your mains is not good, you might clear the cutoff, but you will not come in the final ranking list. And I've seen it with so many people who have been mains expert. You will find many people who will come and tell you that I've cleared mains 5 times, I've cleared mains 3 times, 4 times. You do not need to clear mains that many times. You only need to clear it once, and you need to do it so good that you are there in the final list. As simple as that. In the end, it is an examination, and we are there to clear it. You do not need to get mains medal कि 3 बार कर लिया, 4 बार कर लिया, 5 बार कर लिया, doesn't matter. तो बहुत ही प्रैक्टिकली हमको इस पूरी चीज को लेना होता है. आई यूज टू also it becomes really important in this that who you are taking advice from at which stage of your examination. Someone who I used to personally believe it, it might be really harsh as well. So if someone had scored really well in prelims, I would follow their advice for prelims examination because I was not at all good at prelims. I had a humanities background throughout my college and my post graduation, which is why clearing CSAT became really difficult for me. I failed CSAT twice. I would clear my GS, but I would not clear my CSAT. So I specifically followed people with humanities background who had failed CSAT so that I could follow their strategy. Someone who has been through what you are going through can only tell you the right way. If if I follow some IITian's strategy for clearing prelims, that is never going to work for me. So you have to for example, if I'm preparing for interview, I'll follow someone's strategy who has got really amazing marks in interview, not someone who has not got that high marks. So if I'm following main strategy, I'll follow someone's जिसके मेंस में बहुत ही अच्छे मार्क्स आए हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ आई हैव टू फॉलो समवंस essay strategy, I'll specifically follow a person whose essay marks were excellent. So this becomes important. Then after this, toppers answer copies. They are your holy grail. You will see how each topper write their answers. So I used to, like, when I was preparing, there were a few people who had written amazing answers. Uh, so in each subject, so I used to search their mains mark sheets, and I would see who got highest marks in GS2, who got highest marks in GS1, who got highest marks in essay, and then I would download their copies and I would read their copies for that particular subject only, because I knew that in that particular year, this person was the one who wrote best answers in GS1, who wrote best answers in essay. I still have those downloaded answer sheets with me. So this becomes very important because then you have to learn from the best to do your best. If you are going to follow someone who has not been doing their best in that particular phase of the exam, everybody has different strengths. Someone is very good at prelims but average at mains. Someone is very, very good at mains but average in interview. Someone is extremely good at interview. Their communication skills are superb, but they are not that good at mains. So you have to understand at which stage they have to follow whom. So that used to be my another strategy. After this, with respect to current affairs, so what I would do specifically for mains was I would read mains 365, which is given by Vision IAS. So that was my holy grail. I would read it once, then I would read it twice. After that, I had a 90-page notebook. I got 4 such 90-page notebooks from classmate. I made them GS1, 2, 3, and 4. So I had basically prepared this with the mindset that after giving my test series twice, I will only read these notebooks. I will not read anything else because revision is very, very, very important. You might know 1,000 different things, but if you're not revising them on time,
part in it, then I would write the main factual part, which was supposed to be remembered by me from the mains 365. Because your mains answer should also include a lot of factual information. Static content, everybody is going to write the same. Everybody is reading those NCRTs, everybody is reading those static books which are suggested by all the toppers in the examination. What makes the difference is the examples and the factual information that you're going to write. So in those 4 notebooks that I was talking about, like GS 1, 2, 3, 4, I had written very specifically names of important committees set up by the government for different things, names of important government schemes which were performing really well and what were their statistical information, names of important indexes which are being released by different institutes and organizations, what was India's ranking in those
indexes which were being released, and any other important factual information. I would write it at a place where it was the most context appropriate. For example, if there was a topic about agriculture, I would write the agricultural statistic on those parts. I would make small flowcharts over there. If some committee was related to ethics, governance, morality, I would write it in my fourth notebook, which is more related to GS4. If something was related to economics, I would write it in my third notebook, which was related to GS3, similarly, and so on. So, in the end, after I had given my test series, I had a bunch of four notebooks, which were each 90 pages, and I knew that I can revise them multiple times. So, even before when I would go to the mains examination hall, I could revise them in 1 hour itself. I would wake up early, I would revise the first notebook, I would go give my exam, I would come back, sit for lunch, and I would revise my second notebook, which was to be there for GS2. Similarly for GS3 and GS4. So it becomes very important that all of your information is consolidated. You should not have multiple sources. You should not have your information which is scattered here and there. In the end, it is all about how frequently can you revise that particular information, and how have you organized it. Because I like by the end of it, I was so thorough with those four notebooks that I could even tell you the page number where a particular information was mentioned. Matlab, it had even the smallest of details. You would find small maps of India on that if there was something related to minerals or something. It would have small maps of the world if it was related to some geopolitical situation or some international relations or maritime issues. So these were the small detailings. These were the important things which made my answers very different. I had all of this prepared beforehand. Nothing happens on the exam day. Suddenly, you will not get some enlightenment and you will not suddenly start making maps and suddenly you will not remember any flow charts and all. You have to practice them. They have to be there in your vocabulary, in your regular content every day, so much so that it becomes a part of your routine revision and your routine answer writing. So I had my flow charts, I had my Venn diagrams, everything was there in those notebooks. I would revise them again and again. So by the day of my examination, I was so thorough with them that all these things came very naturally to me. Making those flow charts came very naturally to me. Mentioning the informations here and there, mentioning the indexes, mentioning the factual data, mentioning the maps of India or the world, all of it became very, very, very natural to me. Like even for geography, if geography is a static subject, most of the people would be like, we'll just revise it from the NCRT and not. But I had made the diagrams of small things in that notebook itself, be it the volcano, be it landslide, like even the smallest, minutest detail, which were not that important. Everybody would think that we would not forget a diagram of landslide. If a question comes on a disaster management aspect of landslide, I just remember landslide and I'll make that diagram. But I think here came my discipline that I was sure that no, if even if I'll remember it, let me just make it once. It will hardly take 10 more seconds for me, but it is very, very important that I do it. So I had these four notebooks. They had every damn thing in it. They had all the important committees. Government makes a lot of committees on a lot of issues which have given their recommendations. And if you'll read, there used to be the summary of second ARC, uh, second Administrative Reforms Commission. I read that summary. I did not read the entire report, but I read a summary of it. And even from that summary, I made a small summary. That because that report also mentions a lot of committees. So I made it a practice that I would mention these committees here and there. Like, for example, this is what enriches your answer. If you're giving a way forward or a solution, uh, one would write like, in order for way forward, we need to properly increase awareness amongst people and all this thing. But if I was to write the same thing, I would mention a committee as well, or I would mention certain example in it. So that enriched my answer. That made my answer different from what everyone else was writing. Other than this, also it becomes very important that we make a record of good practices across our country and the world. We all know that there are certain issues which need to be addressed across our, like, which need to be addressed and which are being addressed. You will find that there are so many officers, so many people, social activists, environmentalists, climate activists, who are actually doing really good work. And they are constantly being mentioned in the newspapers, they are constantly popular in the social media and all the right places, but they should also be reflected in your answer. For example, if you need to mention a good practice about how a certain officer was able to develop a buddy mother project in order to work on malnutrition in their district, because when she went there she noticed that malnutrition was a big problem in that tribal district, so she worked on that project. So you will keep finding mentions of officers who have done really good work on field, and it becomes important that you write that. You think that it is not that important, it is not that big of a deal, it is not going to make much of a difference, but it does make a difference. Let me tell you, it makes a lot of difference, because I remember that I had got one of the highest marks in my mains examination, like in my during our year. uh, I had got one of the highest marks in mains, and I think it was only possible because I had these extra things added in my answer, which were not there for other people. Uh, so that is what differentiates your answer. Even within your batchmates, even within the people who have cleared the examination in the same year, you will find that people have different marks in mains and in interview because they are working on their strength. So it is important that you realize what is your strength area and then you work on it. So I think this is it. I've talked in a very general way because like it is also true that now it has been 4 years since I passed the examination. So I'm not very well versed with how's the entire exam dynamics working. If so, I think it will be better if you guys ask me questions and then I'll be able to respond to them better, because I'll be addressing specific topics. So I think we should take up questions now.
Yes, ma'am. All those who want to ask the questions, please raise your hands.
Mm,
Yes, Isha, ask the question.
Okay, so we shall take questions one by one. There's this one person, VH. I do not know the full name. Can
Uh,
you just?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Isha. Okay, please ask.
First of all, thank you, ma'am, for giving such wonderful insights. Ma'am, my question is that as you have said, newspapers, current affairs are very important for mains perspective. Now, when we read newspaper, like for me, it is very difficult to read a newspaper. It's easy to watch a video of news analysis, but to read particularly the entire newspaper is very difficult. And making notes. So, ma'am, what things I have to take care while making notes from those newspapers? Like every news becomes very important for me.
Hmm. Let me tell you very clearly, Isha, that you are not supposed to make notes from newspaper, because if you are going to start making notes from newspaper, it is going to be a humongous task, and you will not know where you had last wrote a certain information about a certain topic, and you will start writing those information all over again. So my strategy was that I would read the newspaper very thoroughly, but I would write notes or anything which was to be written in my answers from the current affairs magazine. Most of the current affairs magazine cover everything. You do not need anything out of that. Other than that, all of that information is not that important. But you are supposed to read a newspaper for building that perspective, for building that mindset that when you write a particular answer, it comes very naturally. The flow of the answer comes very naturally. The flow of information comes very naturally. And there might be certain questions which might not be covered in the current affairs magazine, but you would have an idea about that topic because you have been reading the newspaper. What I used to do was I would read the newspaper. I would read the front page fully. I would read the economics paper fully. I would read the editorial and opinion fully. After that, I would pick and choose. Is it that important for me to read it? For example, a lot of things are there. For example, I would never read the world part because it would mostly talk about what a particular person said, what the other person said in counter retaliation, and it would not exactly answer the geopolitical situation or the international relations aspect, which is important for us from the exam perspective. So, international relations, I would completely do from current affairs magazine. You would see that over a year, if you would look at the current affairs magazine international relations section, particularly I'm talking about, you would see that what they had written in January about India US relations and what they have written in May about India, or February now about India US relations, would have 70% of the same data. Only 30% is different, which has just changed because of certain something which has happened only now. So you need to only address that part of it. You need to add this 30% of information to something which was already there with you in your current affairs magazine earlier as well. I used to listen to the videos or explanation as a, like when I would get bored of reading. So what I would do was I would listen to these videos on 2x on YouTube and I would just close my eyes. But that is not a substitute for reading newspapers. You have to read newspapers. That is only an addition to reading newspaper. I know it becomes very difficult initially. It takes a lot of time to start reading newspaper. So like I used to have a habit of reading newspaper even before I got into this entire prep thing. But if not anything, if you find it very difficult, you should know that certain things you should read. You should always read editorials and opinions because they are built on perspective. They are built on a lot of thought process and everything, which gives you a lot of idea, gives you a mindset about how you should think about these things, because this becomes important not just from mains but also from interview perspective. You will never develop your own thoughts and opinions if you are not reading the newspaper thoroughly or daily. Like you might listen to however many videos, but these are the videos which are being made by coaching institutes. They are not the videos which are made by professionals of that particular topic. Newspaper articles are written by journalists, by senior professors, by people who are experienced in their particular field. So that information is reflected in the newspaper. And that helps you build a perspective. Does that answer your question? Okay. Oh, so shall we start? Shall we take the next question?
Take ma'am. Sapna, you can ask the question.
I think you need to unmute her.
Sapna, you can ask the question right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
I am audible.
हाँ हाँ सपना आपको मैं सुन सकती हूँ, बताइए.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, ma'am. I also belong to the district of Rajasthan, and ma'am,
जी.
my question to you is that my first priority is to clear state PCS, especially Rajasthan Administrative Services. And ma'am, RS takes a bit lengthy. मतलब the selection process is a bit lengthy. So my question to you is that should I align my preparation with UPSC simultaneously or not? And please
Yeah, I
suggest
think.
your opinion on this.
Okay. So, Sapna, I would say that, like, personally, it is my personal opinion. There are many people who might differ from me and they might have a very different opinion. So, I used to think, like, this is how I work. I think that you should always do one thing with a focused mindset rather than diving in two different boats simultaneously and not being able to focus on either of them completely. So, if you are preparing for the state administrative services, then you should first focus on that, because there is no way where you can align the preparation of UPSC and state PCS. People say that they are more or less similar, especially the generations who have been who are guiding us these days, they do think that it is very easy, that state PCS करते करते UPSC का भाई हो जाता है, but it is not so. These are the exams which require a lot of hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. If you are going to prepare for a particular exam, then prepare for it wholeheartedly. Otherwise, what will happen is that you will always keep regretting that मैंने इसके साथ में ये किया था, शायद इसी वजह से ये चीज नहीं हुई। देखिए, मतलब अगर हो जाता है तो बहुत अच्छा है, बट पर्सनली आई डू नॉट सपोर्ट दैट व्यू दैट वी शुड prepare for both these exams simultaneously. If you want to prepare for civil services, then give your wholehearted, at least give it one full wholehearted attempt, because that is the only way you will do justice to it. Otherwise, you will constantly keep feeling that you were there, but you just couldn't make it because you did not give your 100%. And that is like giving yourself false hopes. Is it okay?
Okay,
I
ma'am,
cannot
we'll
hear
take
you.
the next.
Yeah.
Yes, Achal, you can ask the question.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good
I
evening.
hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, you are not.
Yes, ma'am. So, I'm Achal Devangan and I am a second year student at Delhi University. Ma'am, my question is related to the debate. Like, we participate in the debate competition in our college and schools and all. So, how
Hmm.
does it affect our preparation? Like, how can we use that in our mails and interview as well, directly or indirectly? And what if a student is missing all these activities? So, what it leads to? कि उसका selection में क्या problems आ सकती हैं?
क्या देखो, प्रॉब्लम तो किसी के सिलेक्शन में इन सब चीजों से नहीं आती है कि ना आपने किसी चीज में पार्ट लिया या किसी चीज में पार्ट नहीं लिया. आई वॉज ऑल्सो अ पार्ट ऑफ द ड्रामेटिक सोसाइटी इन माई कॉलेज, बट दैट वॉज आउट ऑफ पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट. But I would not say that it didn't add anything to my selection, but also at the same time, those who were not a part of dramatic society, they also got selected. So overall, I think in terms of debating, the whole speaking for and against gives you a perspective that whenever you are given a certain topic, there are times when you're supposed to speak for a particular topic, then there are times when you're supposed to speak against a particular topic. So that does develop a neutral perspective that you can always take a particular stand. And also, it definitely improves your speaking skills. It makes you more self confident. You are able to present yourself better, especially your views to the interviewers and to people in general. So I think that is it. But at the same time, it is a very, very, very minor part of it. Not at all am I saying that people who are not a part of debating society are not good at all these things. Everybody has different interests. It is always important to pursue our interests, but at the same time, they are not the defining factor in our selection. Hard work, dedication, and all these things are equally important. Okay, thank you.
Yes, all those who want to ask the question, please turn on your camera on. Yes, you can ask the question.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is
Good
Vaishnavi
evening.
Rani. Thank you so much for giving your precious time, ma'am, here. Ma'am, I'm having two questions. My first question is, ma'am, what should be the strategy for CSAT examination? And the second question is that how can we analyze PYQs initially? Like I'm in my initial stage of my preparation, and it is important to know what to read and what not to read. And if I'm reading something, so how much time should I give to that topic? So ma'am, how to analyze the PYQs and what should my strategy for CSAT?
Okay. So first we'll talk about CSAT, since I was myself not able to clear CSAT twice. So what after that I had realized that I need to practice a lot more than I was usually practicing. So I did all the previous year questions of CSAT. I would follow a YouTube channel, and I would divide the syllabus, and I studied each and every topic of the syllabus for CSAT as well. Then I had also took a test series for CSAT, and I had religiously given all the tests, worked on the mistakes, revised. Like I basically prepared for CSAT as people prepare for GS examination as well. Like I did not think that it is just English or maths. I'll just do it in last 15-20 days. I dedicated a lot of time to it. Uh, I would dedicate 2 hours every day, especially 2 months, since 2 months before prelims, I would dedicate 2 hours to CSAT and I would practice maths and English in it. Uh, it was only after that that I was able to clear CSAT. Because during those years, UPSC was specifically making CSAT a lot more tougher than it used to be.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that was very like that shift is also very important for us to realize that it was not that you knew any less, but what the problem was that UPSC itself was making CSAT very difficult, especially by the end of 21, 22, 23 attempts were some of the toughest CSAT papers which aspirants have seen you in general. So that is there. And what was your second question? Previous year question. Okay. So for previous year questions, what you need to realize is that you do not need to write answers to those questions. You need to read them again and again so that you know what the topics of question have been and how they have been framed. What are they asking? Like there is this sheet, I don't know, there used to be this sheet by a particular coaching institute or something where they would explain the meaning of different words. Like if a question has explain this or deliberate, so they would tell you when they're asking you to explain about a certain topic, what you are supposed to write. When they're asking you to deliberate about a certain topic, what you're supposed to write. When the question is very direct, like write the challenges and benefits of it, positives or negatives of it, or the issues. So these things become important. So what I would do was I would make a mind map. If you understand, mind map is basically how I would start this question, a flow chart kind of a thing. Okay, so I read a particular question, I would make a mind map. Okay, introduction. Then I'm supposed to write about the different factors. I had this acronym special: social, political, economical, cultural, international relations, or laws related. Like this, I had divided. People do it different in different ways. Some do it penal, or some, I don't know. There are different acronyms basically. So these are the different points that you need to diversify your answer on. So it should have a lot of perspective. It is not like you randomly start writing the points. You have to specifically give, like I would write a small social, I would put it in a box, then I would write the social aspect of it. Then political, then I would write the political aspect of it. So that becomes only possible when you are already going through the previous year questions. So previous year questions is only for perspective. What kind of questions are asked? There might be times when they are repeated, but very less. So you are not supposed to write their answers. You are not supposed to do anything. What you're supposed to do is to analyze that if this question would have come in your examination, how would you go about it? What would you write in its introduction? What would you write in its body? Challenges, way forward, solution, and conclusion. What all can you add? Are these questions where you can add anywhere you see a possibility of adding a diagram, a flow chart, or a Venn diagram? You should do. I think that I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Yes, Sia, you can ask a question.
Yeah, you can ask your question. Am I audible?
हाँ हाँ आप audible
Okay.
हैं.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Sia.
Good.
I am from philosophy department, and my question is that how to remain consistent, because I am in my second year, but now I feel little bit like how to do it, like how you have managed your preparation?
Hmm. Yeah, so for me, I would say that you do not need to pressurize yourself a lot, especially when you are in college, because we have a lot of things to do. So I did not start my preparation while I was in college, and that was a very conscious choice. There are people who start preparing in college, and good for them, but I was not that person. I wanted to experience my college life equally. So I had decided to prepare after college, and I was mostly able to be consistent by following a routine. Like I had a very, very strict routine, and I would follow it very mechanically. Like I would not think too much about a lot of things. So I had a fixed routine. I would wake up, I would read my newspaper, I would do my optional, then I would go do XYZ things, then I would come back, I'll do my GS current affairs, then again I would go back, take a break, have my lunch, dinner, snacks, or whatever. Then I would come back, do some current affairs, test series, and all these things. So I think this is how you need to do it religiously. You should have a routine, and that routine should remain same. And you should follow it. Only then will you be able to be consistent. But if you do not have a routine, if you do not know what you're going to do tomorrow morning, first thing you wake up, you find it very difficult to be consistent. For to be consistent, you have to have a routine. You have to know what you're going to do the next day, the next week, and more or less the next month. How your syllabus is divided for the entire year, how your year is going to look like, how your month is going to look like, what all you are supposed to finish in the entire month. And you should target that you follow this routine at least 70 to 80% of the time. That is more than enough. Nobody expects you to follow your routine exactly 100%, but you should follow it at least by 70 to 80%. Then you are almost halfway there. So you should have a routine, you should have a well planned structure for your time, like for every day, for every week, for every month, for the year, till the time you are preparing, till your examination. No matter, there might be some ups and downs, but you still need to do it, okay?
Now we'll take up the last question. Kaina, you can ask.
Good evening, ma'am. Thank you for giving your precious time to the session. Ma'am, my name is Kaina Singh, and currently I am in my second year pursuing BA Political Science Honors. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask you that what qualities do you think matter more than the rank? And the other one is like, what are the common conception people make about the IAS or UPSC examination?
Hmm,
That's it.
okay. So, personality traits are, देखो, so, so many people get selected in a particular year in a particular examination, and no two people are same. So you cannot define that a certain particular trait makes a particular person a good officer or a bad officer. If your personal qualities are very different from what you are supposed to be as an officer. So, which is why it becomes important that I think personally for me, what is important is that you should have a clarity of thought. You should have a clarity of thought, and you should not be scared of speaking up. You should always speak up whenever you have the opportunity, whenever it is important for you to speak up in situations. And because in the end, what we need and what you are supposed to be as an officer, you are supposed to lead, you are supposed to be courageous, you are supposed to take responsibility for your decisions, for your team. So these things become very important, and they are only possible when you are a person who can take your own decisions, when you are a person who has a clarity of thought and on what is their on what is their priority. And if you are someone who just does not follow anything blindly. And what was your second question? Sorry. Uh,
Ma'am, what's the common misconception about the examination? Like what people think about this exam and what the actual reality is?
I think what the biggest misconception is that people have glamorized the civil services a lot. People think that if you clear the civil services, if you become an IAS officer, then you are going to have this amazing elite life and you're going to have all the beautiful things in the world and your life is going to be super duper amazing. Everybody is going to bow down to you and everybody is going to be at your toes. None of that is true, especially in today's age and time, when social media has also become very, very aggressive in how things are being taken up. So we need to make a conscious choice whether this is the life we want, because people come in with a lot of glamorized idea of the services when they do not realize what the ground reality is. You need to understand that it is a very, very, very taxing job. Mentally, emotionally, physically, it is a very taxing, it is a very, very exhausting job. It is not something like you are coming here to relax. You do not have any idea at what time your day is going to start tomorrow and at what time it is going to end. At the same time, you do not know what kind of a situation you will face tomorrow, and you have no idea about how you're supposed to deal with those situations. So this entire glamorized kind of an idea that civil services is this or that is very far away from reality. Very so it is only when you actually join the services, when you are on the other side, that you realize the true picture, that it is a job which comes with a lot of responsibility. It comes with a lot of accountability. You are held responsible for each and every decision of yours, each and every action that you take, how you respond in particular situations, how you behave, how you say things, how you are dealing with everything and everyone. Which is why, so if and only if a person is able to own up to all these things, then civil services is the right path for you. And if you think that this is not the kind of responsibility that you or someone you know can take, then I do not think that becoming an officer is the right path for you, because it is a extremely responsible job. You are at the forefront of everything which happens in your surrounding, especially when you are at a role which is directly involved with law and order, administration, crowd management, and all these things. Because even a small thing goes wrong, then you are directly held responsible for it. And it because people are trusting you. People trust you to manage all these things in your sub. Like for example, if I'm a subdivisional magistrate, people in my subdivision trust me to maintain law and order in my subdivision. They trust me to maintain the crowd. They trust me to manage all the festivals, all the crowd gatherings, all the protests and everything. And if I fail them, then it is my failure, and then it is the system's failure. And you will not see that, you will not find officers who are going to do that. Because if we are here, we have come with a lot with that mindset that we are here to take responsibility, we are here to take decisions, and we are here to manage situations no matter what. Even if it means that you have to hurt a few people's sentiments in order to preserve the larger harmony in the society, by managing a certain things, then you take those decisions. It might seem very unfortunate and very wrong to a person who's on the other side, but there are times when you have to look at the larger good, when you have to look at the larger piece in the society, and you have to look at the larger, what is going to be the best decision for the larger good. Now, and that is there in the end. So I think that's it. So shall we close the
Yes.
session now?
Yes, ma'am. I request Vidya for the vote of thanks.
Hello, yes. Dear Tanushree Ma'am, on behalf of Sankalp family, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to you for the insightful session on connecting daily news with UPSC main syllabus. Your ability to seamlessly connect daily news with the UPSC main syllabus has not only enhanced our understanding but also gives us a clear practical framework to approach answer writing with a greater depth and relevance. You also mentioned that adopting a holistic perspective in your responses distinguishes our answers from others, and I'm very confident that today's session will significantly shape the way aspirants write and read newspapers, analyze issues and structure their answers. We are thankful for your time, guidance, and practical insight, ma'am. I also thank all the participants for making this session interactive